Thank you for tuning into another T13 Media production. And if you're wondering, how else can you support all of us and show your T13 spirit? We have merch. So you can get your very own PrimeTime Travvy T shirt, Bad Guy Has Spoken hoodie, Hi-Fi mic mug, Book It bandana, or even That's One's a Banger pillowcase. You find it all at www.t13media.com. You are now listening to a T13 Media production. What's up, guys? Welcome to the inaugural episode of Primetime with Travvy T. I, of course, am your host, Primetime Travvy T himself, and today I am joined by my guest, Skillz Harris, aka Skillz Mega. Skillz, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on the show as our first guest.
I'm good, man. Thank you for inviting me to be here, bro.
So give the audience a little bit of a background on yourself. I'm gonna explore deeper into it, but give an overall just who you are.
Okay, I'm Skillz Harris, aka Skillz Mega, MC, producer, former battle rapper, ghostwriter. I'm a member of Down by Law, so DBL in parentheses Down by Law. That's a hip hop collective. We have members here in Baltimore, Maryland. We have members in North Carolina. We also have members in New York, and we have one member in Michigan.
Okay, bet. So tell me, what was it like growing up in Baltimore?
Growing up in Baltimore, there's not really one clear-cut experience, but where I'm from specifically,
yeah,
I'm from West Baltimore. So I'm from Garrison, and that's not far from Walbrook. That's not far from like Mondawmin Mall. Growing up here, it's not too far from what you see on The Wire, but
okay.
The funny thing about being in Baltimore, there's like a lot of abandoned houses, and beyond that, you can be in a good area and then you keep going 10 minutes in either direction, and then you'll be in the hood. Like you'll be And Baltimore is so small, it's like everybody knows each other. And if you don't know, it's like everybody knows each other, or everybody knows somebody who knows the other person. That's how small Baltimore is.
Yeah. I feel the drive in 10 minutes one direction being nice area, then in the hood, and then nice area, and then in the hood. That's how Columbus is, honestly. It's so great. Like one of our nicest areas is like the Easton area. And honestly, if you drive a mile or two down the road, any direction you go, and you're like in the hood. Like,
right. It's like a polar opposite. Like you would think that you were in like not another city, but you would think that you're far away from wherever you first were. Like for Baltimore, that's like being in Roland Park area and then you're in Greenmount. Like it's just but it was fun growing up. It was good. It was cool for real.
How are you guys holding up with the coronavirus situation right now? Y'all doing all right out there? You guys?
Corona has taken a lot of people's jobs, and the job situation isn't really that great here anyway.
Yeah.
But on a positive note, coronavirus is giving people time to do things that they otherwise wouldn't have had the time to do. So if you're the type of person who you would have done X, Y, and Z, but you didn't have the time to do it, now everybody has time. So if you really want to do it, this is the time.
Yeah. The only excuse you have now is that you don't want to do it. Not.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Down by Law, hip hop collective. Tell me about that.
So it started. So we get the term from this hip hop movie called Wild Style, and that was like the titular song. Like that was the main song from that soundtrack, and that was like the song that the different crews would battle on. This is like one of the first hip hop movies. And basically it's just down by law. Like we're down for each other, but not just on some like and at a high level. Like we're really connected. Like we're down by law. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like how a Cuban link is together like that. We're down for each other like that. But it started in high school, and we would just freestyle and battle. And then as people got older, people went to college, and through SoundCloud was a big factor in the foundation too, because that's how we started to meet other artists, and then we started working with other people. It's myself, it's Davon Quill, aka DMD. It is Versatile K, Mike Lapedia, DP Infinite, OSHA, El Shefe. It's so many people. If I'm forgetting somebody, I'm don't blow up my phone, bro. I'm trying. Oh, Antoine. It's a lot of people. Oh, Hayes.
Okay. Okay, cool. And you said you've been with that, like you guys started in high school. How long ago was that?
We started around 2013.
Okay, so yeah, you've been going at it for a minute. Okay. And you were talking about freestyling and battling. So tell me about your battle rap career. Tell me how that went,
So,
came and went.
battling is what got me into rapping. Like I had been a fan of hip hop. Like my father made music. My mother currently, like, she makes music also. But
Really? Okay.
yeah. But just battling, what happened was when I was in middle school, it was like a cipher going on, and I had never rapped before. Like I wanted to be a DJ. Like as you can see, the records in the back. Like this is part of the collection for real, but there's way more records. But I wanted to be a DJ at first, but I was near a cipher, and dudes were rapping, and I'm the type of person where not to feel like I can do anything. You feel me? But like I feel like if you feel like I'm not going to bring it, I'm gonna show you how much so I can. You know what I mean? Like, so basically, I got challenged to a battle, and I wasn't even like. Sometimes ciphers become battles. You know?
Yeah.
You got a whole bunch of MCs together.
It's competitive.
Right. It gets real competitive. Right. So I hadn't rapped before, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna try. And I wasn't ill at first, but then I just kept on and kept on. So I would just battle. And then one of the guys that I was battling had told me, like, he had told me if you want to get better, you need to start writing. So I was like, cool. So I just started writing more. But battling is the rawest form of rap that you're gonna find.
Yeah.
Ever. Like that's the essence. That's like it's not commercialized. It's kind of like, and not in a bad way, but battle rap has kind of become like wrestling.
Yeah. I got you.
Like wrestling, but not in a bad way. But like battle rap is just rap in its rawest form, and it's not like a thing where I'm a better battle rapper than you. It's like, no, I'm a better rapper. Period. Like, but the intricate thing about battling is you can lose in the building or wherever you were battling at, but you can win on camera. You see what I'm saying? Because say if you're in an environment that you're not familiar with, or you don't have a lot of your people with you, sometimes it's not going to matter, but sometimes crowds are really biased. So you can lose in the building, but when you watch the footage back and then people really compare the bars, you can win on tape. And that happens sometimes. Just like boxing. Like how sometimes one boxer clearly won, but the judges, they really like messed up the rounds, how they judged the round. But you won from the eye test or from the ear test in this case.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. I'm a big MMA fan, and that's one of the biggest problems with MMA right now is the judging. We took a lot of I say we, like I'm part of the decision makers in MMA, but MMA took a lot of like boxing judges and brought them in, which is fine, but boxing is one sport, MMA is another sport.
Right.
There should be they should be specialized in MMA, not boxing, because
exactly
they get a lot of issues, a lot of fights wrong.
They're really not the best when it comes to things. Like do you watch First Take?
First Take with
Max Kellerman and
yeah. Every once in a while, I don't get to see it a lot, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So Max Kellerman, his main sport is boxing. Like he watches all sports, but his specialty is boxing. And he was saying how a lot of people think it's hard to judge boxing. It really isn't. And at first I was thinking, styles make fights. Maybe you're the type of person who leans towards a defensive type of boxer, or you lean more towards the brawler. Like there's different styles make fights. But he was saying, by the eye test, which of the fighters would you have rather been during that round? Whoever you
Right.
have wanted to be, that's the person who lost that round. So it really isn't that hard. And they've
Yep.
historically messed up a lot of fights. So I don't think that's a good look.
I disagree with Keith in the chat just now shouted out that says like how Manny beat Mayweather. I don't believe that. That's not happen. That didn't happen.
I don't believe it. That's funny. That's hilarious.
Yeah. No, that's not what happened, Keith. That's not how I remember it. My bad. That got me off track just a little bit. But you said you've ghostwritten for some popular artists. I don't want you you don't have to shout out who you've ghostwritten for or anything, but if you want to, you can. But
oh no,
talk about. I didn't think so, but talk about what that experience is like, because like I write music myself. I can't imagine having somebody write for me.
I am just so much so from the school of quote unquote real MCing or quote unquote real hip hop. It's unfathomable to me for me to ask somebody to write something for me. I don't care if it's a hook. Like people suggest me lines all the time, and not to be big headed or anything like that, but I don't even do that. Like because I don't want anybody to be like, oh, well, I wrote this, that, and the third. Like, no, it's not like that. And I grew up on like KRS One, Doom, like mad different other artists, and I just feel like that's just not something I wouldn't be proud of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I had somebody else write this for me. But basically, how I got started was, Fiverr.
Fiverr. Yeah. The gig service.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I just put up my services on there, and at first I just wanted to use that to do features. But then I saw that there were people really, really paying for this, paying for you to ghostwrite. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's kind of odd for you to seek a ghostwriter on Fiverr, because at least in hip hop, or how it was, in recent years, but how it was kind of taboo to have a ghostwriter. Like if you said you had a ghostwriter, it took away your credibility, as an MC. If you want to be seen as an MC, that would take away your credibility. But
definitely. How do you feel about Drake?
Okay, Drake is a great artist, and Drake has more classics. Drake has classic albums.
For sure.
Is people try to make it seem like since he had a couple songs written, and I don't know how many songs, because clearly he's taking songs from. He took songs from The Weeknd for Take Care. He took songs from
Quentin
Miller for at least one album or maybe one and a half. We really don't know the extent of it. I think that Drake really can rap. I just think that Drake got so caught up in the lifestyle of being a rapper that it probably artistically hindered him. And I think that he didn't need Quentin Miller, but I think that in order to get things done at the rate that he wanted to get things done at, he needed some assistance.
Yeah. And the way I view it, like, okay, I'll be honest with you. Drake is my favorite artist. He's not going to be my favorite rapper.
Oh, I think
the reason I won't put like Kanye, Drake, I can't put those guys in my top fives. Because as you said, to be an MC, you write your own stuff. That's how I feel. That's my viewpoint on it. But what I don't like is when people come in and say that Drake can't write, or Drake can't rap, or Drake can't do this. When Drake writes for other people, Drake writes for Kanye. Drake writes songs for Jamie Foxx. Drake, you know what I mean? Like don't play with his pen like he doesn't, like he can't do it. It's just Drake is a pop star now. Drake has ascended past hip hop, unfortunately.
Right, exactly.
To where he lives a lifestyle, like you were saying, that's so fast paced that his music videos are commercials at this point. Like, there's a reason why what was his last one? Laugh Now, Cry Later. It was
the last song with him.
It was basically just a Nike commercial.
Yeah.
Like,
right, exactly.
And that's just word to how big of a star he is. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is. We've got a question from the chat here for you. I guess for both of us. Do you think at a certain point some rap artists get to a level that they may not be as in touch with maybe the gritty street side of rapping? I'll answer first. Just to, I don't think that rap is anymore a gritty street art. I think there are elements of that depending on who it is. But I don't see Drake doing gritty street rapping. I don't see other guys like Russ or Jeezy or I'm trying to think of other popular rappers that aren't white guys. But so on and so forth. I don't see that from them. Now, if you're talking about like a Jeezy, I think Jeezy's just as gritty now as he was back in the day. But I'll let you answer. What do you think?
Do I think at a certain point some rap artists get to a level that they may not be as in touch with the maybe gritty street side of rapping? I think a lot of rappers aren't already in touch with the gritty street side of rapping.
I think it's a fake. I think it's a facade.
It's a facade for the majority. Like, but there's some rappers I believe. Like, I believe YG. I believe.
Oh yeah, YG for sure.
For real. I believe Vince Staples. I believe the whole Griselda. There's nothing fake, anything about Griselda. I believe Jay Royale. That's another Baltimore MC.
Okay.
I believe there's certain rappers who you know it's real because of how detailed they go into it with. Like, it'd be different. Like if I said something about like if you rhyme dope scale, coke nail, you feel me? Like, okay, like you're dabbling in it. But if you start talking about like weights and points on the package, then you're like, oh, this person really, really knows what they're talking about.
Right.
But some rappers do lose their hunger. I don't think that it's that they get to a level where they're not in touch with the streets anymore. Because you can take somebody out the street, you can't take the street out of them. It's extremely hard to. It's extremely hard to do that. That's why look at all the legal trouble that Gucci has had, all the legal trouble Wayne has had.
Yeah.
The list just goes on. When you give somebody money, people love to say that money changes you. Money does not change you. Money gives you an opportunity to be more of who you are, good and bad.
Ooh, I like that.
So thank you, bro. But when, we might have to sample that. But
right.
Just put a little drop after. But I don't think that they lost touch with the streets. I think that you spend so much time trying to get to what you believe is your peak or what you believe is going to be the pinnacle of your career. You're on now. Now it's like, how do I keep it? Get like Dr. Dre said on the Kendrick album, getting it is easy, keeping it is the hard part. Now you put in so much work to stand out, and now that you're on, how are you going to keep that success going? It's hard to make that first album that made you pop, because that first album, that's when you were your hungriest. That's before you had it. That's when it had to work.
Yep.
So a lot of artists experience the sophomore slump. I'm a big Nas fan. I believe that Nas could have picked better beats throughout his career. That's no lie. But to say he had a sophomore slump, I don't believe that. But did he probably lose some hunger along the way? And I love movies. I'm not trying to be cliche or anything like that. But if you remember in Rocky 3, you've seen Rocky 3?
I've not seen any movies in my entire life, basically.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I that's one of the things they make fun of me for on all the other shows. I don't ever watch any movies, so. But go ahead though. Go ahead though. Everyone listening has seen it. I'll just be the odd one out.
You gotta watch Rocky 3. Rocky 3. Rocky 1. Rocky was broke. Rocky was working for the mob. Rocky was doing odd jobs. He fights Apollo Creed. He survives the fight, so he earns a second shot. He wins the second fight in Rocky 2. In Rocky 3, he's living it up. He's on Sesame Street. He's on Wheaties boxes. Like, he's living his best life.
Yeah.
He's rich now. So he's not taking it as serious as he used to, and he's not as hungry as he used to be, because he's not in need for money anymore. That needing to survive aspect is no longer in his life, because he's taking care of his people are taken care of. So now he's just holding the title, and his manager, as he should be doing, he's getting him cupcake fights, making him fight against people who really don't stand a chance of him in the ring to make his record look good. But then Clubber Lang, who was played by Mr. T, fresh out of jail, knocking people out in 3 rounds, Mike Tyson style. And he challenges Rocky. His manager is like, I'm not letting you fight him because if you fight him, like I don't want to see you get killed in the ring. Rocky's like, why won't you train me? And Rocky doesn't really train well, and Rocky gets beat terribly. And he asks his trainer what happened to me, and he goes, what happened to you is the worst thing that can happen to a fighter. You got civilized. So I relate that back to rap. You could be hungry, you can sound like the hungriest dude on earth on the first album, because that's when it had to work. You were putting, like, you like De La Soul?
Yeah.
Okay. You know why the album Stakes is High is called Stakes is High?
No. Why?
Because De La Soul wasn't really selling well, and they were going to get dropped from their label. So Stakes is High is the last album that the label was going to let them do before they were going to drop them. So De La Soul hooked up with Jay Dilla, and they fired Prince Paul, because Prince Paul, he made the majority of their first 2-3 albums beats, but he wanted to still keep it quirky, keep it zany, like be funny. Positive News was like, ain't nothing funny about this. This is life and death. They're trying to drop us. Right. So, and that's why it's so serious. Now, me, I prefer Balloon, Mind State. I like Stakes is High too. For me, those are my 2 favorite. I can't pick one over the other. But Stakes is High stands out the most out of De La's entire discography, because that's the one that had to work. Pressure creates diamonds. It's either going to go one or two ways. You're going to burn out, or you're going to shine through it. And that's what happened. So I relate boxing and rapping. It's like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Also, you brought up Kendrick in that at least once, I think maybe twice. I think Kendrick's one of the people that, for whatever reason, just doesn't. I think he thrives on wanting to be the greatest to ever do it.
Yes, and another thing about Kendrick. Oh, were you about to?
No, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
One more thing. I forgot people. My squad deep like the Wu. So if I forgot anybody, don't take it personal. Shout out my boy Chili. Just texted me a couple minutes ago. That's my main producer. We got a lot of stuff coming up. The song that I sent you to play at the end, he produced. We got a lot of heat in the works. But back to Kendrick. Here's the thing about Kendrick Lamar. When you come from a point of fighting for acceptance, you're going to fight for it more. Kendrick is a West Coast MC for the longest time, and this came back to bite New York, and it bites New York to this day. I love New York. I got my man's DMD, my man's Yasha, all my people, Sway Valley from Queensbridge, all my people in New York, peace. But the thing that bites New York sometimes, because that's where hip hop was founded, there's a lackadaisical attitude towards when it comes to rapping sometimes. Because some New Yorkers feel like because they're from where it started, they're automatically going to be top tier. And it's not like that. You have to work on your craft. You have to, and not to say that they don't work on their craft, but there's a big difference between Dead in the Middle of Little Italy, Big Pun, and Chicken Noodle Soup. Like there's a really big, something had to happen to change the way New York was rapping. Like, and for real, I said it in one of my songs, like, look, like New York, I said it, but Jay-Z also made a point about it. Jay-Z said, I'm not even gonna go there, bro. But when Snoop took the buildings down, things just went downhill. And for the longest time, like in the 80s, early 90s, New York wasn't really messing with the West Coast. Other than like Public Enemy, New York wasn't really messing with West Coast rap. But then NWA started selling, and they had no choice to really pay attention and accept it. You had, before NWA, you had like Ice-T, you had King T, but NWA really, really pushed Cali to the forefront, and then, you know, Death Row and everything. But when you come from somewhere where, because you're not from New York or you're not from the East Coast, they look at you like you can't rap, or they look at you like you shouldn't be rapping, or they're not even trying to give you a chance because of where you come from, you're going to go harder to prove the point that you can do this. And there's a hunger that exists in other places that, and clearly I don't live in New York. I visit New York often, but it's like there's a hunger that got created over there that isn't over here because they always had the luxury, we being the East Coast, we always had the luxury of being around hip hop. They didn't have the luxury like you could in the 90s, you could go on the block or whatever and get a mixtape. You can go get a Red Alert tape, a Funk Master Flex tape, Kid Capri tape, Doo-Wop tape. On the West Coast, it wasn't like that. And this is an art form that was made by impoverished people. And you're trying to tell other impoverished people because of where they come from, you don't think that they should be able to rap or you don't like their style of rap. Like, no, this is a widespread culture. This culture is for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So when you try to exclude somebody from that or you're not as receptive to it, that gives them the extra battery in their back to show you how well they can do whatever you're saying they can't do. So you have somebody like Kendrick who is a product of the groundwork that Snoop Dogg, Corrupt, WC, Cube, like you have somebody who is a product of that. So now it's like, oh, you don't hear anybody saying, oh, he's from the West Coast, I don't think he can rap. I don't listen to West Coast rap. How can you like hip hop and say that you don't like the West Coast when Kendrick is one of the best rappers out here? You see what I'm saying? Yep. Or the same thing with Andre 3000. When they got booed at the Source Awards, they got booed. New York was booing them, and Andre was like, "The South got something to say." Now look at hip hop.
Yep, exactly. The South is almost I'm not even gonna say almost. The South right now is the biggest part of hip hop right now. I'm not gonna say they're the best part of hip hop, in my opinion.
Right,
but they're definitely the most popular part.
Exactly. Migos, Young Thug, Black,
Future,
Earth Gang, Future, Lil Baby, Gunna. I don't know if I mentioned 21 Savage yet.
No,
Yachty.
Yeah, literally so many.
City Girls, they're from Florida. Like the South is just running hip hop right.
For sure.
On a mainstream level. But as far as the gritty street side of rapping, that's always going to be here. But you might not hear that in the mainstream. God bless Jimmy Fallon, though. He let Griselda come up there and perform, which was dope. But you got
Griselda from East Coast? Where's Griselda from?
Buffalo.
Oh, they're from Buffalo. Oh, okay. Okay, shout out Buffalo. Two of the co-owners of this company are from Buffalo, so shout out Buffalo for sure. So real quick, one last subject before we get into an ad real quick. But tell me, who are your biggest and favorite collaborations?
Ever in hip-hop history?
Yeah, like, no, and for you personally.
Oh, that I've done?
Yeah, your favorite collaborations for you and some of the bigger ones that you've done as well.
Okay. D4MN. That was produced by DMD. He's from New York. He raps, sings, and produces. Just dope. My friend Lil Webb, I went to middle school and high school with him. He's on the track too, and he's affiliated with my group. And it's just, that's one of my signature songs. Like, that's my most played song on Spotify. It's just classic East Coast hip hop, but it has a message too. So that's one of my favorite collaborations. I have a song with this rapper named Phantom. He's from Brazil. He's one of the head rappers in Wu Brazil. Very dope song. It's not out yet, but it's coming out very soon.
Sure, absolutely. Awesome. Real quick before we get into our next batch of segments, let me talk about Triumph chairs. So are you tired of using your chairs from your kitchen table when you're trying to game? Me too. That's why I went to TriumphChairs.com and scooped me one of their luxurious, comfortable gaming chairs. And right now you can get 10% off one of these Cadillac chairs by using the promo T13 at checkout. That's the letter T, the number 1, and the word 3. Just tell them Travvy sent you. Tell me about this collab album you got, 6 Day Theory.
Oh, my man's Chili Madison, who I just shouted out a couple minutes ago. He produced that whole tape, 6 Day Theory. So that's just my take on trying to do as much as I can in a short amount of time, because Tupac's last album while he was alive was the 7 Day Theory.
Yep.
Don Machiavelli, the 7 Day Theory. So instead of the 7 Day Theory, I wanted to make the 6 Day Theory. Now, it didn't quite turn out to be made in 6 days, but what happened was, it was, instead of being like 6 days altogether, it was 6 different days but spread it out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get you.
But that's what that was about. But it's just that's more so of my storytelling album. Like, there's different stories told on that album. Very lo-fi.
Okay.
Just a real hardcore East Coast album.
Okay. So when you say hardcore East Coast, what do you think? Like you said, you described yourself to me as a traditional East Coast hip hop artist. What does that mean? Explain that to the listeners.
That means that I'm not just letting the beat carry me. No offense to anybody who's not from the East Coast, but I'm not a fan of, and I think that the producers should be making the money that they make. I think that the production value has increased very much so.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, East Coast rappers, or at least from the ones that I look up to, there's an emphasis on lyricism, not just rapping and rhyming, but saying something in your lyrics. Content, right. So when I say East Coast rap or East Coast hip hop, traditional East Coast hip hop, that's like Gangstar, Doom, Biggie, Mobb Deep, Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
Just things like that. So
yeah,
that type of realm.
So not necessarily boom bap, which is what I was thinking when you said it at first, was just straight boom bap, but more. I understand what you're saying, like a New York style where you're looking for. What'd you say?
That's part of it too. Boom bap is definitely
yeah, it's in there, but it's not. I'm saying it's not exclusively boom bap.
Right? No, it's not exclusively boom bap.
Yeah.
What I recently just dropped, Westport and Beyond. It's on my Bandcamp right now. It's going to be on streaming by September the 4th.
Okay.
But basically, that's like a mix. It's a mix of boom bap, but then it's got newer stuff too.
Sure.
But
okay.
Theory, that's straight boom bap, lo-fi, things of that nature.
Okay. Cool. Real quick, talk to me about being co-signed by. I might mess this guy's. Is it Von Mason?
Yes, Von Mason.
And DJ Mark, the 45 King.
Okay, so Von Mason, rest in peace. He died earlier this year.
Sorry to hear that. Rest in peace.
That was a person who was very close to me.
Okay.
Very much so a mentor, not just on the music tip, but mainly on the life tip. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he introduced me to DJ Mark, the 45 King. So those who don't know, Von Mason, he was the leader of Von Mason and Crew. They did the song Rock Skate, Bounce Roll, better known as Roll Bounce. Like if you've seen the movie Roll Bounce, the movie gets its title from that song.
Okay.
DJ Mark, he introduced me to DJ Mark, the 45 King. DJ Mark, the 45 King is a New Jersey native. He helped with Queen Latifah's first album. He was down with the Flavor Unit, Naughty by Nature. He produced Stan by Eminem, and he produced Hard Knock Life by Jay-Z.
Got you. Okay. Wow. Okay. So that's somebody that you know pretty well then, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is a hell of a cosign then. Let's get off the basketball. Let's get off the music talk for just a second, and let's talk about basketball. Who's your team?
New York Knicks.
The Knicks. Okay. I'm sorry to hear that, but
it's been a rough 20 years, man.
Yeah, it's been a minute. What y'all got? Like the 8th pick in the draft this coming year? What y'all do? Someone said, I don't know who it was. It was one of the players. I can't remember who it was, but it said, I think the NBA caught the Knicks sleeping with their wife or something because they be getting hoed all the time with these draft picks.
That's funny. That's funny for 2 different reasons. One, that's just hilarious. And 2, when Derek allegedly,
Yeah.
when Derek Fisher was our coach, he traded Tim Hardaway Jr. because he wanted Tim Hardaway Jr.'s girlfriend. Allegedly.
Oh, that's wild.
And I don't think that passed him because of what happened with him and Matt Barnes' wife. So I can't really put it past him. But what happened with us? Yeah, we have the 8th pick. We keep going forward to take 3 or 4 steps back.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to be a rough year. 1, we didn't get Zion. 2, KD and Kyrie are in town, but on the other team. Like it's just ridiculous. Then on top of that, our GM in free agency last year, he signed 4 power forwards.
Mm.
If our team is nothing but forwards, who's bringing the ball up the court? Like it's just all types of stupid stuff that goes on. So then when we tank, right? So we call ourselves trying to be Philly, which we can't be, but we try to be Philly and trust the process. We tank and still can't get the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick. We tank and get the 8th pick. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Philly shouldn't have trusted the process either.
Oh yeah,
they just swept the ass.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But how you feeling about the NBA bubble? How you like? You said you're a big basketball fan. You liking the bubble idea?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely needed something to watch from a health standpoint. It seems like they're doing everything they can to make sure nobody brings it, nobody spreads it and brings it to the bubble. I think it was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lou Williams. What happened with Lou Williams is crazy. Like, did you hear about that? One of the first days in the bubble, he went to Magic City for the Wings, and when somebody took a picture of him, he lied and said that the picture was taken before they went in the bubble, but he was wearing the special face mask that the NBA gave him. So
that's crazy.
He's thinking like, "Oh, I'm in Florida. I'm about to go to the club." Come on, bro. So of course, like, and they lost a couple of games because of that, but they're still in the playoffs. So
yeah. Did you see that the Raptors and the Celtics are talking about boycotting Game 1?
Yeah, I saw that.
So shout out to them. I'm a big Celtics fan, so when you said you got Kyrie over in New York, trust me, you don't want him on the Knicks. I promise you.
Oh yeah, because he's not gonna pass the ball.
Yeah, exactly. He's toxic. You don't want him.
Yeah, you guys are doing way better with Kemba.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but I mean it does.
It because they react to things differently. Kyrie played with one of the best basketball players ever, so he's gonna expect and demand perfection. This is an imperfect game. You're not going to make all of your shots. So Kyrie, something that Kyrie would get mad about, Kemba would be like, "It's okay, take that shot again." It's a different temperament.
Yep. And with young players, you have to have the mindset of Kemba. You can't have the mindset of Kyrie. You're not playing with Kevin Love and LeBron anymore.
Right, exactly. And you saw LeBron left, Kevin Love, they can't trade it. They can't give him away.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Who's winning the championship this year? Who's taking the chip?
LA. The Lakers. Either the Lakers or the Bucks.
Disgusting.
No, my man's DMD, the one I was talking about earlier, he's a big Boston fan. His mother is a Boston fan. My homeboys in Lowell, Massachusetts, they love the Celtics. Yeah.
I'm still going with Celtics.
I love the Celtics back in the day, like before Carmelo got to New York, like AG, Paul Pierce, Ron.
That's when I became a Celtics fan too. I was a kid though. Yeah, no, I'm still going with Celtics. I'd like to see Celtics Lakers in the finals. I don't think it's going to happen. I think
That would be nice, though.
if I'm looking at it realistically, it's probably going to be the Bucks and the Lakers, like you said.
It's probably the Bucks and the Lakers, but it would be a more enjoyable series if the Celtics win.
Yeah, I agree.
Jaylen Brown, they've got Jason Tatum. Like the Celtics have and his cancer.
Yeah, we've got a good team. The thing is, we would be the underdogs against the Bucks and the Lakers.
Yeah, because they're bigger teams.
Exactly. But I'd love to see that because I don't think the Celtics currently. I know they don't have a super team. We don't have a bunch of superstars. You know what I mean? We have a bunch of rising stars.
Right. Exactly.
In a few years, that you might call us a super team.
Right.
But right now, we just
Kemba, Jason, and Jalen as a big three.
It could be, yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Let them develop themselves a little bit more, and then I think 2-3 years they could definitely be.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also like, I still don't think that's a super team. I think that's like, I don't think that the Golden State Warriors before Kevin Durant are a super team.
Golden State before, right? Exactly.
Because they just built that team up. That's a natural team. You know what I mean? Like a super team to me is you go out and get stars to come to you.
A super team to me, yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about everybody on the squad, not everybody, but at least 5-6 of them might be considered Hall of Famers. Like a super team to me is when, KD. Because before that, if they were such a super team, why did they lose to LeBron?
That's my point. Like y'all went out and got KD and got Boogie, and I think that's what puts you into that super team status. But when it was just when your big three was Steph, Clay, and Draymond Green, that's a good team.
But it's not a
obviously,
team.
But it's not a super team, right? Yeah, you just did a good job at building your team. I don't know
what amazing that they won that 73-9 that season. That was a great season for them. But that's just great coaching. And for real, I don't know. I don't think that Steve Kerr is a bad coach. But to be honest with you, Mark Jackson really coached them up. Like they wouldn't have. I'm not saying that he didn't do anything. Like he's done a good job. Mm-hmm. But I don't really know how well he can, because he didn't really build up that team.
I feel you. So here's my question with you on Steve Kerr. Does he go down as one of the best minds for basketball?
No.
He was with the Bulls when they did their 72-10?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Their team, and then he was with the 73-9 Warriors as the coach, obviously. You just think he was right place, right time?
I'm not gonna. That's OD disrespectful. He was there. I mean,
yeah.
Did he get placed in a great situation? Yes. And Mark Jackson really because who was there before Clay? It was Monte Ellis. Like, I think that Mark Jackson had a lot to do with the success that Steve Kerr has had. But did he just give him the keys? Like the Michigan Fab Five situation? No. But damn, that's crazy. If any other coach, I think Doc Rivers could have done that.
Oh, for sure.
I think Doc Rivers could have done that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right place, right time. I think that he inherited those rings. But as far as that specific season, no.
Okay. I'm with you. So you're if I had to push you down to one pick, you're saying LA for the championship?
Yeah, Bron and Anthony Davis versus Giannis. Yeah.
Cool. Yep. All right, I'm gonna do one more ad real quick. Make sure you guys check out Teeing Off with Travvy T and the Bad Guy. Teeing Off is the fastest rising combat sports show without a corporate backing. It's myself, PrimeTime, Travvy T, and the Bad Guy, Kenny Davis, every week discussing the biggest topics in boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling. It's your one-stop shop for all things violent. So let's talk about football. You're a Ravens fan, right?
Yep.
How far do you think the Ravens go this year?
Lamar Jackson is suffering from the same thing Peyton Manning had going on at the beginning of his career, which is you're putting up numbers, and not to diminish the MVP season because he was balling out, but it doesn't matter what you do. What you do in a regular season doesn't really matter if the goal is to go to the Super Bowl. And so far, Lamar hasn't won a playoff game yet. I think that will. I don't know if we're going all the way, but I think we're at least going to the AFC Championship.
Okay. Where's Pat Mahomes? What?
He played for the Chiefs.
Yeah, but is that AFC or NFC?
I think that's the NFC.
I'll look it up real quick because I don't know. I feel like we're on the verge of a dynasty with him. The way that we had, not Peyton Manning, him too though, but Tom Brady.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is balling. You already bought a baseball team?
He bought a baseball team?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because he signed a new contract. He signed like a $400 million contract.
Yeah, he's the highest paid player ever, right?
Yeah. And he just bought a baseball team. While you're looking, I'm gonna look up the team that he bought.
No, he's in the AFC, so getting past him is gonna be rough.
He's in that, yeah. We can do it though. But the thing is, our corners have to take off pressure. Like we can't rely on Lamar to just. We don't need him throwing 40 times a game. You see what I'm saying? We need we need a defense to step up. But we need a top receiver. Like I'm surprised we were supposed to sign Dez Bryant, but then we didn't. So I don't know what's going on. Like we have good receivers, but we don't have a number one receiver.
I feel you.
Hurt us in the playoffs because there were a lot of drop passes. We need a consistent number one option. Like they're not going to let him go, but somebody like Amari Cooper, like Dallas, they have the ideal wide receiver core. But of course, you know, they go.
Dallas is like the best team that never does anything.
Exactly.
I hate it. Tampa Bay, you think they're going to be doing anything this year? You think Tom Brady is going to be a problem?
Tom Brady?
Yeah, Tom Brady and Gronkowski both went to Tampa Bay.
Every time I think about Tampa Bay, I automatically think of Jameis Winston because of the colors. Because Jameis Winston, he played at Florida State, and he basically was wearing the same colors at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to do well. They just got somebody else, too. They got LaShawn McCoy, I believe.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they're stacking up.
And that's like veterans, too. It's not like you got a bunch of good rookies that might not be able to play together well. Like,
no, they got some veterans.
Yeah.
Legends in Gronk and Brady. I haven't seen Gronk. Has he been working out, though? Like,
yeah, I think he's in a good spot. Damn. It's gonna be nasty.
It is. I can't wait to see it though.
I know I don't really like Tom Brady in general, like the Patriots or whatever, but I'm interested to see because this is gonna be telling for Tom Brady's legacy. If he can go to Tampa Bay and dominate the way he dominated in New England, he's probably the GOAT.
People are saying he's the GOAT right now. Doesn't he have 6 rings like Jordan?
Yeah. So here's the argument for that. If he goes to Tampa Bay and he fails, he's a system quarterback, and it's all Belichick.
Right.
Belichick coached. You know what I mean? You had the perfect coach for the quarterback. But if he can go and do it with Tampa Bay, you know what I mean? It just makes him. It shows that it was him the whole time. It's not.
Yeah, I definitely put him up there. I'm more interested to see what happens with Cam because you know Cam.
I want to see both of them. That's what.
Right. I want Cam to do well. I don't like the Patriots. I've never liked the Patriots.
Yeah, me either.
I don't want to see Cam fail. Like the way Cam got did in Carolina is kind of crazy to me. Like he was just the MVP not too long ago.
Yeah, I love Cam Newton, man. I'm glad that he's went to the Patriots. That's a good team for him. Yeah, I got a bunch of Buffalo Bills fans that I'm friends with. So if they're listening to this, they're pissed at me right now for wishing good luck to Cam Newton. Yeah, because the Patriots are their biggest rivals.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow. So they're like, don't talk shit about that. I mean, to be fair, I'm a Bengals fan, so a Bengals and an Eagles fan.
No.
So yeah, like I know.
Hey, Y'all got Jalen Hurts though. The Eagles, I mess with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, and they gave my boy Mike Vick a chance. I mess with the Eagles.
That's what made me an Eagles fan was when they took Mike Vick.
Yeah,
he was my favorite quarterback.
Balling out.
Yeah. They had LaShawn McCoy at that point too, right?
Yeah, they had Shady McCoy. They had Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin. Like, that was a super team. Everybody was calling them the super team, and it just didn't gel together.
Yeah, that sucks too. That pissed me off.
I used to terrorize people in Madden with that team, man.
I like the way like Lamar Jackson's style where he can run.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what made me love Mike Vick was him being able to just, if he couldn't find a pass, he's gone.
Lamar Jackson, to me, he has the potential to be the GOAT. Like, you can't catch him. Nobody can run with him. He's getting better and better with the passing. We got the steal of the draft when we drafted him. He has to do it in the playoffs. But it can't all be on him. We're not going to win if he's throwing 50 times a game.
The other thing was, the other thing that made me happy with Mike Vick was when I think he was on the verge Lamar Jackson was on the verge of breaking one of his records or something like that. And Mike Vick showed up at one of the Ravens practices to help him run through some things and like show him some different like running maneuvers and stuff like that. And it was like, not only is he okay with you breaking the record, he's helping you break the record at this point.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's a big, like, that's the big homie moment. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You deserve all the praise. Like, real quick. Let's talk about boxing. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Who's your favorite boxers? Like, give me your top 3 favorite.
Mike Tyson, number 1. Ali, number 2.
Okay.
I'm from Baltimore, so number 3, I'm gonna go Javante Davis, Tank.
Okay. Cool. I'd say Mayweather. Tyson Fury. Probably Ali or Tyson. Although, I like Tyson for his violence. I don't necessarily think that Tyson's one of the best boxers. Like, you ever have that conversation where someone asks you, like, what's your top 5 rappers? And you're like, greatest or favorite? Because, like, those two things are different.
Two different things.
Yeah. So that's how I feel with, if I'm talking favorite, it's Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
But that's just me. What are some of your favorite fights that you've seen? Boxing fights.
Julio Cesar Chavez versus Pernell Whitaker.
Okay.
George Foreman versus Michael Moore. Ken Norton versus, bro, I can't remember who he was fighting, but it went like 15 rounds, bro. It went
I got you.
Rounds.
I feel you.
Crazy. Oh, Mike Tyson versus Larry Holmes. Because that was the match. That was the revenge match for when Larry Holmes beat Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. My favorite Mike Tyson moment, I said this on my other show, Teeing Off, where was, I can't remember the dude he fought. It was a white dude, and dude was talking all the mess going into that fight. Like, all of it. And
with Tyson, bruh.
With the dude was
the funniest conference, like the shit that he would say during conferences, bro. Like, Mike Tyson used to wild out at the press conferences.
See, I don't even remember Tyson on the conference. I remember the white dude going crazy, like talking about how he's gonna knock him out. He's not scared of him. All this. Then they did an interview with him literally right before he walks out. They're doing the face off, and he's all bouncing around like. And Tyson goes, just still stone faced. His eyes never left him, just watching back and forth. And then the fight started. And he knocked like 3 punches thrown, and he knocks the dude down. And dude pops up like he's not really getting hurt, but then he ends up just getting fucked up the entire fight. I can't remember that dude's name, but it was a good fight. Not competitive, but
I might have to send it to you. But it's like a compilation of like the wildest things that Mike Tyson has said.
Yeah. Mike Tyson did go. He would wild out sometimes.
95% of the video comes from his conferences, from his press conferences. Bro.
I feel you. He would say some crazy shit. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was. And I wouldn't even want to, bro. If somebody said some shit like that to me, bro, I would have to reevaluate it. Like, do I really want to? You know what I mean? Like,
there's one time where he says, it's a female interviewer, and she asked him a question, and he said, I only let people that I fornicate ask me that question. So do you really want the answer? I'm like, that's kind of, you kind of got to drop that vibe a little bit, bro. Like, this is not,
did you see?
That was a little too much.
He was going back and forth with this white boxer, and I don't know what the dude said, but Mike started spazzing. He was like, "You wouldn't survive in my world. I'm a F you till you love me, blah blah." Like, it was crazy. Like, Mike Tyson.
He do say some crazy shit.
Yeah, but crazy. That's the thing. Mike Tyson he's from Brooklyn. Like, before New York got gentrified, he's from that New York. Like,
yeah.
Thank God he became a boxer, because I'm sure you know, like, he was living a life of crime before he started boxing.
Right.
Like, Mike Tyson is no nonsense. Like, he's a funny person, but he's no joke. You know what I mean? Like,
he's terrifying is what he is.
Yeah.
As a human. But speaking of Mike Tyson, who you got? Mike Tyson or Roy Jones Jr.?
Mike Tyson in 3 rounds.
In 3 rounds, okay.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
I think they got what? They got 6, right? Or 8. Oh, I have it written down on here. Give me 1 second. 8 rounds. You think he's gonna knock him out in 3?
3. Now, because I was reading this article and Roy was like, "I'm gonna need some more money if they keep moving the date, this, that, and the third." I'm like, it kind of sounds like you scared. Like, I don't know. Like,
I'm thinking it's gonna be. I think Roy Jones Jr. by decision. I think he's gonna give Tyson his first decision loss.
You got Roy. Roy is no slouch either.
Yeah.
But Tyson willing to do whatever he got to do to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, he'll bite in the ear.
Yeah, he'll bite you in the ear. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Like, when you jump in the ring with Mike Tyson, you're accepting that this fight, you can't control this fight. The referee might not be able to control the fight. You know what I mean? Like, you must protect yourself at all times. For real. Like,
for sure.
Like, you gotta take that to heart. You never know what's going to happen. Remember Floyd was fighting Zab Judah and his uncle ran into the ring to fight Zab Judah?
No, I do not remember that.
It's like 2004, 2005, and Zab Judah had hit Floyd with a low blow under the belt. And
okay.
Floyd's uncle, rest in peace, Roger Mayweather ran in the ring to fight Zab Judah.
That's wild. That is the craziest thing.
You're in a fight and your trainer gets ejected.
Oof. After you got low blow too.
Yeah.
But he still won though.
Of course.
50-0. How do you feel about Oscar De La Hoya saying he's coming out of retirement? And not only that he's coming out of retirement, but he will only fight a top guy. He doesn't care who, but it's got to be a top guy, a ranked fighter.
He's been gone for too long, bro.
It's 12 years, bro. Like,
it must be about the bread, bro. I think, he's trying to capitalize on, like, the GOATs coming back.
Yeah.
Oscar was dope in his prime. What I don't want to see happen to him is what happened to Bernard Hopkins. Did you see Bernard Hopkins' last fight? Well, he's retired now, thank God. But he was fighting a younger guy, and not only did he knocked him out the ring.
Oof.
Like, the guy hit him so hard that he flew in between. He went in between the ropes and landed behind the scorer's table.
That's nasty. That's not what we want to see for these legends. That's the other thing he said too, is that he won't be fighting exhibition. He's fighting professionally. It will go on his record against a ranked fighter. He's trying to say that he's better than he's ever been. His jab is faster. His cardio is better.
Nope.
He's stronger. And I'm like, you're 47 years old. Like, that's defying science. Like,
I want to see him fight the guy that beat Deontay Wilder. I would watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I about to say? So real quick, let's get into these versus battles. What are some of your favorite matchups so far?
DJ Premier and RZA, that was dope.
Really? Okay.
Snoop versus DMX.
That was one of my favorites. I think that is my favorite, honestly. Who did you have winning that one?
I had Snoop winning.
I did too. I had a lot of people tell me DMX won, and I was like, I'm
The people
I don't
who
think
told
so.
me DMX won, they were significantly older. Like all the people who
Yeah.
who have talked to me about it, who thought that DMX won, they were like really older.
Okay. That makes sense. Old heads. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you were telling me about, I didn't see this, but you said Rakim versus Big Daddy Kane. Who called out who? Rakim called out Big Daddy Kane?
Yeah.
That's not a bad matchup, honestly. That's not kind of like a...
It's not a bad matchup. The thing is, Rakim has Big Daddy Kane beat lyrically, but flow-wise, Big Daddy Kane has Rakim beat.
You said flow-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, that's crazy. That's a good matchup, though. Like, for old school hip-hop, like...
Right.
That's a lot of people's goats between those two. Or in the top 5 for a lot of people. A lot of our favorite rappers growing up, you know what I mean? We're looking at them. That was their favorite rappers. So
yeah,
those two, KRS-One. I mean, LL Cool J. I don't really fuck with LL like that, but some people do. Run DMC.
Yeah, Run DMC hard, bro. Run DMC. You mentioned LL. You got Rakim. You got Big Daddy Kane. Public Enemy. Trying to think, bro. There's just so many. Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah don't get the respect. Her and Missy Elliott don't get the respect that they deserve.
Yeah.
Honestly. So who would you want to see? Like if you were given books for a versus battle, you can book 3 versus battles. Who you want to see?
I want to see De La versus Tribe Called Quest.
I fuck with that heavy. Like heavy. You got any other ones?
Probably Nas and Common.
Ooh, I like that too. I think Nas, I don't know though, because Nas is the better rapper, in my opinion.
Nas, I feel like Common has made better albums.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah,
probably made better songs, but with Nas's poor beat choice at a lot of times, I think that type of format better serves Common.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was thinking. I wanted to say Nas is such a better rapper that it's not even fair, but like in the format that it is, Common could definitely come out with a win there. And that's something I would want to see. Go ahead. What?
Because people debate Nas and Common sometimes, and it's like the thing is, they're 2 different sides of the same coin, basically. But Common might have more classic albums than Nas does. Like if you go back to not the first album was dope, but I don't consider it a classic. But everything before Electric Circus, other than Can I Borrow a Dollar, like you got One Day It'll All Make Sense, Resurrection, Like Water for Chocolate, like those are 3 bona fide classic albums.
Yeah.
Like Common is underrated to me. I think Pharoah Monch is underrated too. There's a lot of rappers who can really rap their ass off, but they just don't get to shine like that. Or like Planet Asia, there's mad different rappers like that.
Absolutely. Couple of them that I want to see if I could pick 3 versus battles and like I knew they would happen no matter what. Dr. Dre versus Kanye.
Dre's waxing him, but it would be nice to see.
Yeah, it would just be a party the whole time though. Well, I agree. Dre, in my opinion, is the GOAT producer of all time.
For me,
that's my opinion. Okay. From there, I'd say Eminem and Jay-Z.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be really interesting.
I'm leaning towards Eminem. I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan. I know a lot of East Coast guys really fuck with Jay-Z heavy.
Yeah,
I get that. It's just not my style. I don't really like I don't feel like he's ever had anything that's like, he has some hits, don't get me wrong, but I would lean Eminem.
I think it would be over because Eminem, when they did work together, Eminem killed him.
Exactly.
Everybody feels like Eminem killed him on Renegade, but it's like if you're doing a song with somebody, you're letting them have the advantage on you by letting him make the beat too. They should have
Yeah.
let somebody else make the beat, so it would be more of a clear. It would be more of a equal playing field.
Yeah. I agree. And then finally, the last one is Drake and Kendrick.
Oh,
Because I feel like those are the two kings of the era that you know what I mean, like
right.
came up with.
I don't know who would win that one. I think
Because Kendrick's a better rapper, but Drake, the format favors Drake.
Drake has the better discography, and the better discography. He has the larger discography.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say better because I think Kendrick, in my opinion, everything Kendrick's released, maybe I don't know about the Untitled Unmastered, but everything else is classics to me. You got Overly Dedicated. Maybe that one's not a classic, but it's a bona fide.
Well, that's
good
more
album.
Mixtape, but
You said what is it?
That's more of a mixtape.
Yeah. I'm just saying, just projects in general. You've got Section 80, which is a mixtape too.
Classic.
Then you've got Good Kid, Mad City.
Classic.
Definitely a classic. To Pimp a Butterfly, definitely a classic. Damn. Am I missing one?
You're missing. Did you say To Pimp a Butterfly?
Yeah.
Oh,
Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a, those are both classics to me. And
I
then,
don't think that Damn is a classic. Like, Damn is good. I just personally don't see it as a classic.
I feel you.
You know who's really underrated?
Who?
Absol. Like, the Control System. Control System is such a solid album. I feel like he's underrated. I love Danny Brown too. Like, Danny
Brown's good.
Dope.
All of Top Dog's good in general. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I just recently got into Sir, the R&B guy.
Right.
You know,
yeah,
he's so vibey. Like, I just randomly found one night I was drunk. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was drunk. And I was on Spotify listening to some music, and it popped up, and I was like, "Oof, this shit is way too vibey right now for how I'm feeling. Got me in my feelings and shit."
That's dangerous, bro.
I know, right. Drunk and listening to R&B is not the mix,
bro.
So let's talk about freestyling.
Okay.
Is it as important as hip hop makes it seem?
No.
Okay.
No. And it is very important though, because you might be in a situation where you might have wrote something for a battle or whatever, or wrote something for a cipher, but then you didn't fully memorize it. You don't want to choke. You know what I mean? So improvisation is very important to have, but it's not the end all be all. Like, I've been in situations where I was performing at a cancer benefit a couple years ago, and there was this guy there, and I had rapped. I'm done performing, but now we're just outside freestyling and cooling for real. I'm done rapping. I had just rapped for like 30 minutes, and now we're outside ciphering. Like, I'm done. But this guy was like, it was this guy, well-known dude in the city, right? So they introduced me to him, and he's like, I heard you can rap. Like, they all saying you can rap. Let me hear something. I'm like, all right, but I'm not about to freestyle again. Like, I was just freestyling, and I just came back from performing. I'm not really trying to freestyle. And he was like, oh, well, if you can really rap, you can freestyle whenever, blah, blah. Like, whoa. I think that when you're asked to rap, you have to be able to rap. Like, if I say that I'm a rapper, I'm an MC, I go by MC. But if you don't know the difference between an MC and a rapper, and you call me a rapper, that's fine. You feel me?
Yeah.
But MCing is something much greater than just rapping. But
sure, right.
But like, some people really feel like you're not a real rapper unless you can freestyle, and that's ass backwards. Because back in the 80s, freestyling as we know it culturally now, that started on the West Coast, as far as like just kicking rhymes off the dome and just that type of energy, like from Project Blowed and like the Good Life scene before that. That's where like AC Alone, Freestyle Fellowship, like all of them come from that. And like Far Side, like that whole freestyle type of thing, that came from the West Coast. Big Daddy Kane in the interview, he said that a freestyle is free of style. That's just a rhyme that you haven't heard before. So as long as you're not kicking a rhyme for somebody that they've already heard before from you,
Yeah.
that would be considered a freestyle. To me, freestyling is off the dome.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that you need to have, but it's not as important as people make it seem. Because I've been in studio sessions where people will be punching in line after line just to be like, oh, it's freestyle. I freestyled that. I'm the type of person, I prefer quality over quantity. I would rather give you a strong 16 bars than to give you a lukewarm, okay, 32 or 30. You know,
Yeah.
every time I'm on the microphone, I want to put my best foot forward, and I can freestyle, and I have freestyled. The I only freestyle if the energy is right. If I'm really feeling it. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to freestyle. It's going to come off half-assed. And you're not trying to listen to anything half-assed. I'm not trying to put out anything half-assed.
I
You
feel
know
you
what
on that. I feel you. Well, the next question was why or why not, but you already explained that. So
my bad.
No, you're good. I'm glad you did. So last topic before we get off here. Let's hear your top 5 dead or alive. Greatest of all time.
Dylon. I'm playing. I'm playing. Everybody who watches Pell Show, I know y'all caught that. I don't know if I have a specific order, but
that's fine. But whatever your 5 is, and I'll tell you mine too. Actually, I can start if you want.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go from 1 to 5. It might be controversial, but my number 1 right now is Kendrick. I feel like he's been able to reinvent himself multiple times and put out quality every single time. Number 2 is probably Eminem. If he ended his career after recovery, I feel like he would have a better shot at being number 1. But the thing is, I feel like he's putting out lackluster projects, in my opinion. I know a lot of people still fuck with it, and they say, well, it has more of a battle rap feel, or it has more of he's doing it for lyrics only, or whatever. I think Eminem is the greatest word rhymer of all time. I don't know if he's the greatest rapper of all time. Because to me, there's a difference. He doesn't always have content with what he's saying. He's just rhyming because he can. You said what?
Putting a lot of words together.
Yeah, exactly. Number 3 is Nas, which is self-explanatory. I don't need to explain why he's in the top 5.
About Nas, bro, for real.
Number 4 is 3 Stacks, which also I think is self-explanatory. This man came out. He revolutionized the South. And then number 5, I'm gonna give to Rakim, but it changes. Sometimes it's Joyner. I ain't gonna lie, but I feel like Joyner, just because of his storytelling, the way he's been able to tell multiple stories. Like there was, I'm not a racist. There's, I'm sorry. There's 100
story song by you talking about the Dollar Bill song, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
That's the one. Yep. There's fuck. What's the other one? I didn't want to be nothing. I want to be just like you. Ross Capiccioni, like him being able to take these songs, like some of them are real life situations, and turn them into a song and make you feel not just one side of the story, but flip it and make you feel the other side as well. That's shit that most people can't do. And that's what gave him. I know he's young in his career. Same thing with Kendrick. Kendrick's still in his prime. So I feel like it might be a little early to put him at 1, but that's fine. I don't care. I'm used to being controversial. But Joyner's a little young. He's a little new to the career. He really hasn't even popped yet.
Joyner over Freddie Gibbs. Like it's kind of.
Yeah.
You listen to Freddie Gibbs?
No, not a whole lot. I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, you got it.
So who's your 5?
MF Doom at 1 spot. Just for his lyricism and just for lyrics alone, MF Doom. But not, it's more than just the lyrics though, but MF Doom. Now I'm going out of order because I can't really rank them, but Nas.
Okay.
Ghostface Killer.
Okay.
3 stacks.
You said who?
Andre 3000.
Oh yeah, yep. Okay, you got one more.
Now I'm either going Cube. It's either Cube or Common at this point. It's either
I
Cube.
like that. Cube is definitely top 10 for me. I ain't gonna lie. Common's probably up there too. It's just once you get out of that top 5, there's so many rappers, and it's like trying to break them down.
It's so hard to pinpoint it to 5 people because, like,
exactly, yeah.
Redman could easily be on that list too.
Yeah. All right, so guys, this has been the first episode of Prime Time with Travvy T. Big shout out to my first guest, Skillz Harris, aka Skillz Mega. It was a blast talking to you, man. I just want to end the show by playing one of your songs, so everybody check it out. But before we go, Skillz, shout out all your plugs. Where can these people find you and connect with you?
SoundCloud.com/Skillz Mega. Just type in Skillz Harris. I'm on the majority of streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, you name it. My music should be on there. Facebook page, DBL. On Instagram at Skillz Harris, Twitter at Skillz Harris.
Okay, cool. So I'll get those links from you, and I'll put them in the bios, like the descriptions of the video and the audio versions of this.
Bet.
So that way everybody can get it.
I'm gonna need you to send you a YouTube link too.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play your song now. Give me one second. Do it that way. I've not heard the song yet, by the way. I'm live reacting.
Word.
Hey yo, first that's racist break up. Now every day I wake up, somebody got something to say. Dropped the 6-day theory, made the underground hear me. Had the West Coast bumping my tape. Heard such and such winning. When they see me, they be running, cause they know they don't want that fate. Write my life on the page, right or wrong, who's to say? Just know that I'm here to stay. We in the streets like potholes. Peace to the G's, I'll see at the crossroads. You see the one for you, this should never roam. My cousin lost his legs for being macho. Went to shell with his earth, left his piece in the whip. She jumped some other dude and she peeping his drip. Walks by and bends over, he starts catching the drift. Gave him my number, she thought she was slick. Homie had a fresher whip, invited her to dip with him. My cousin pissed, wishing that he had the blick with him. Rushed the guard, didn't think that he would be the victim. Body hit the floor as soon as the clip hit him. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it keeps turning.
There you go, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Well, I got you guys here. Have you seen our show, Debatable? It's the only courtroom where you're not a dishonorable, not a real judge has to make a ruling on something of the silliest, but sometimes serious, yet always entertaining topics known to man. If you've ever wondered what it's like to hear grown men yell at each other about their favorite cereals, then tug it out by the end, then Debatable is for you. Find us every Monday at twitch.tv/T13media at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.